Let's bring in Jason Brodsky, Policy Director of United Against Nuclear Iran. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Here we are. We have the differences right in front of us on the table. Israeli Prime Minister says you have to carry a stick, and U.S. President says diplomacy. Where are we now?
It's great to be with you. I think that the president has a deep emotional connection to the state of Israel. That was apparent. But I think it was revealing that Prime Minister Lapid made a very impassioned plea for there to be a credible military threat put on the table to force the Iranian system to make a decision. But the president did not specifically state that it was on the table. And he has actually never said that a military option is on the table. He's only responded to the question saying yes as a last resort, but has never been forceful in saying that it's on the table. And the Iranian leadership perceives that hesitancy, and it sends a signal. And I think that the White House needs to reverse that impression.
Mike Wagenheim, i24NEWS from New York. Let's take this point and ask you, is Biden perceived as being weak with Iran, getting this into account?
In Israel, is he perceived as being weak, or in America? In America, I don't know if too many people are paying attention to the Iranian issue, but amongst those that are, they would feel, I think, to a large extent that the diplomacy, the diplomatic avenue that Biden and the State Department have pursued now for 6-7 months into these negotiations has essentially gone on long enough. It's almost a running joke at this point, when Secretary of State Tony Blinken and his department and Special Envoy Rob Malley said in December, in January, hey, we've got days, if not weeks, to get these negotiations done, or else Iran will be permanently out of the box, out of the parameters of the JCPOA. No way to put them back in. It doesn't serve our interests to go beyond this rough deadline we've set. Here we are in July, and these negotiations on and off are still ongoing. So, yes, Biden is perceived to some extent to be weak when it comes to telling Iran, hey, enough's enough. There always seems to be one more avenue for talks and one more avenue for talks. In Israel, you obviously have a better reading on that situation than I do being there, but I think
Let's ask Ambassador Ayalon right here. Is Biden perceived here in Israel as being weak?
Well, I would say to some extent, yes. I think it's first of all, it's a matter of style, and secondly, coming after Trump, which it was considered here a hero, notwithstanding all these other foolish things and problematic behavior. But here, because of Jerusalem, the embassy and all that. But Biden here seems like he is not leading, or if he is leading, it's leading from behind. Because he really takes advantage. The whole tour could not have been made or taken place had it not been for Trump's, the Abraham Accord. And in his first year in office, Biden did not do anything to further this accord. He came only as a result of the higher gas and oil prices, and he needs it also for political reason. And also, I think he sees the United States might lose Saudi Arabia and the Gulf to China and Russia. So all of this together, and of course vis-a-vis Iran mainly, because he does not make a more, I would say, aggressive rhetoric against Iran, he seems here to be somewhat weak.
Jason, let me ask you, what about the theory that Biden prefers to lift sanctions on Iran in order to reduce oil prices?
Well, I haven't seen much evidence there as to a unilateral lifting of sanctions. I think actually the Biden administration has started very slowly to impose sanctions that would be scheduled to be lifted under a return to the JCPOA in an attempt to crack down on the enforcement. But I agree with some of the other comments that were made. I think that today was a real opportunity for the president on the anniversary of the JCPOA, July 14th, to make a more aggressive, assertive posture. And I think it was a missed opportunity in that respect for the United States.
Okay, Mike, in New York, before we let you go, what are the expectations in the coming 2 days from the visit in Saudi Arabia? What would be a success for Biden?
You know, the expectations deliberately, I think, are being kept low by the American administration. Biden said right off the bat, I'm not going there because of trying to bring down gas prices. And to some extent, he's right, because even a ramp up of production of oil and gas wouldn't really, really be visible in terms of a reduction of gas prices in America. What would be a win? Setting the foundation, getting everybody on the same page when it comes to a plan B. With Iran, making sure that there's interoperability, that there's a plan going forward. I think coming away and having everybody give a unified message on what the Abraham Accords mean, what it means in terms of a regional alliance, I think would be a win for the Biden administration, showing, like Danny said in the studio, that he's leading from out front and not from behind and letting everybody else take the reins in the region.
All right, we'll have to wait and see on this. Thank you, Mike. You gentlemen stay with us, please. We'll take a short break, and then we'll continue with the coverage of Biden's visit to the Middle East. We'll also go live to the Maccabiah games and tell you what are they all about. That's in a moment. Back to you, Jason Brodsky. Maybe we are rushing a little bit with this. As you know, we had a Saudi guest previously on this program now, and he said it's not NATO yet.
Yes, it's not. It's a partnership, really, more than an alliance at this juncture. And for years, even before the Abraham Accords, which were a game changer, by the way, the GCC had enough problems coming up with an integrated regional security architecture on its own. And so this is going to take time. I think it's going to take time to build trust. But if it happens, and if they continue on this gradual path, it has the potential to be an enormous boon to U.S. and Israeli security. And I think that it's important to understand that every country within the GCC has a different kind of relationship with Iran. They all perceive their own national interests differently. So how to reconcile all of that and make it into a seamless whole is the challenge, and that's why it will take time.
All right. Let's bring i24 News correspondent in Rabat, Morocco. Rida Dennis is with us from our Rabat studio. Good evening to you.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So give us the angle from Morocco. Do you see Morocco joining maybe formally some sort of moderate countries axis that would work together here in the Middle East?
Of course, Morocco, even if it's a bit far geographically, but it's a partner with the region. You know that the relation between Morocco and Israel is having a new era. A lot of partnerships have been done between the both countries in different subjects, interest way, in the economic way, and also in health. And also Morocco is a partner with the United States of America, as you might know. Some military exercises have been made in the few last years. Here, Morocco names the African lion, the last one, the Moroccan army, the American army, and some Israelis officers also. And this tactical and technical exercise was against any nuclear attack and any attack in line all those countries. As you may know, also that the economy today is something changed with those countries, or also now we have the big problem of oil, that it can be also a major problem to the world, and it's involved Morocco. So any trade to the Middle East can involve Morocco as a partner. Morocco has also special relationship with Saudi Arabia and countries from GCC. So today Morocco has a moderating situation and a partnership situation with Israel and the United States and also the Arab countries in the region. Anything that can happen as a threat to the countries of Morocco of this region, it's involved Morocco also.
And Iran, how is the Iranian threat being perceived in Morocco?
So the Iranian trade, even if it's, like I said, geographically far from Morocco, but it's something existing. President Biden said that the military choice is existing. Maybe it's the last one, but it is existing against Iran. The Iranian threats are not only for the region, but for all the world. The President Putin will visit Iran soon, and also the problem then with the war between Russia and Ukraine, and the problem also with gas done in Europe is going also through the region of Middle East, the Middle East, and especially the GCC countries, having a country one of the biggest producers of oil and gas. So the energetic problem will include all of the countries. So Morocco is aware of the situation of Iran, is aware of the threats of Iran to the region, and also allied to the United States of America and the countries also in GCC in defense also.
Mm-hmm. Okay, our man in Rabat, Reda Dennis, thank you very much. And also thank you, Ambassador Ayalon, and also Jason Brodsky. Thank you both.